This is really a national team, and I think people are feeling it. They've built a fan base in this country, but around this region, you think back to what Vince Carter started to build playing for the Raptors and the players it spawned in this region. There's so many good NBA players. Jamal Murray's over to our side here. How many great Toronto players, Canadian players, and now to see this team in the finals after the moves they made in the offseason with a lot of risk involved.
Yes.
To now be here, best of 7 against Golden State with Kevin Durant still out of this tournament.
Yeah, right.
I think there's a feeling around this Raptors organization and region that they got a chance to kind of hold serve here at home.
Yeah, and we'll get into Kevin Durant, but I do want to show, this team has been around since 1995. This is the giveaway on each seat. It is every single logo that the Raptors have had. It also has OVO in the middle. Shout out to Drake, of course. I might steal one of these because these are really cool. That's an exciting giveaway. It just shows the excitement that this is their first ever finals, and you'll see the craziness out in Jurassic Park as we'll head outside in just a bit. But let's get a little bit into the news and notes of this game. You mentioned Kevin Durant. He's out for game 1. He is on this trip. What is the word around him for the rest of the series right now?
Yeah, I was just talking to Bob Myers, the Warriors GM, and they still have hope that he's going to play in this series. And, it's probably not going to be here in Toronto, but that he will be able to get closer to a rehab course that would allow him to come back. He wants to play again in these playoffs, and certainly the Raptors, this is the best team they will have played in the postseason. I know other years you felt like just getting out of the West, that was the challenge for the Warriors, but this is the deepest, most talented team. The Raptors are going to get OG Anunoby back, another athletic wing defender.
He's out for tonight, though, right?
He's out for tonight,
yes.
But there's, I think, some expectation he'll be back as soon as game 2. But so they may not just want Kevin Durant back, but they may need him back. And I think there's still hope. But the calf injury is tricky, and obviously there's long-term ramifications for him too to make a decision to play. But I do believe he wants to play, and they have some optimism they'll get him back.
Yeah, his free agency is, of course, looming over these finals as well. Someone who is going to be playing tonight, maybe, we'll see what they do with him, is DeMarcus Cousins. He is active. How much do we think we're going to see him out there on the court?
I think it's going to be limited, and I think Steve Kerr said as much. I think especially for a big guy, it's the conditioning.
Yeah.
This is a hard level to walk back in on. This isn't returning in February in Sacramento. The intensity, the level of this competition, the last thing they want is to have him come out, pick up 3 fouls in 2 minutes. They know the defense, that the Raptors are going to run all their offense at Cousins, but they have a chance to work him back into this, and they played very well without him, and so I think they're going to be careful with how he's eased back into this.
Yeah, I think Draymond Green put it like this. He said it's if you grew up in the suburbs and then were dropped in the hood. He's been off for over a month, and then he really wasn't 100% when he returned before getting hurt in the first round of the playoffs. So this is a difficult stage, but he could be a decoy. I don't know. It changes them a lot too with their pacing as well. Let's get a little into the Raptors' health and really Kawhi Leonard. Look, he's playing at an all-time level, but he hasn't been 100% all year. We saw him limping in the Eastern Conference Finals. But how have the Raptors been managing him throughout the playoffs? We know there was a lot of load management. He only played 41 games. What has been their approach with him?
Alex McKechnie on the Raptors staff has medically worked with Kawhi through this entire season and put a program in place along with Kawhi's own doctors to find a way to pace him, to recognize the fact that he only played 9 games last season and had a lot to work back from. He didn't play back-to-backs for most of the year. The term load management came in vogue with Kawhi.
Right.
But he's played his best basketball in the postseason. And listen, it's clear he's still not 100%. I think the feeling has been that with the quad injury, he's had to maybe put more pressure on his knee and some of that tendonitis. They would love to see what a fully healthy Kawhi Leonard looks like. You've seen moments when he's had to get up and dunk and put it down on somebody. He's able to do it, but you've also seen a lot of it's been just he plays at a different speed in his own pace. He makes you play to his pace, and it's been remarkable the way he's carried this organization. They would love to have him back again next year and beyond with a full summer of health. But right now, I think he's got enough in the tank to carry them to the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even 100%, but you want to get some water for Woj real quick. We got you talking a lot because there's a lot to get to. And, you bring up the point. He's not 100%, but, to have a guy like Kawhi, this is what Masai Ujiri did. This is what he gambled on. After they got swept by the Cavs last year, he was like, put it on me. Put it on me. I need – This is. I will make this better, and he did. He got rid of the coach of the year. He got rid of their best player. He brought in Kawhi. You've had a lot of discussions with Masai Ujiri from that point until now. How would you describe what this accomplishment means?
Well, you look at the trade for Kawhi, and then at the trade deadline, the Marc Gasol deal, and what that's meant for them, and how he's impacted. Like, they knew Marc Gasol was going to help them in the postseason when the game slowed down, and you've seen his leadership.
As you see Kawhi right now on the court, and he's warming up, and we'll see what he's not limping out there. And look, Nick Nurse says he's feeling fine.
Yeah, but I think for Masai, listen, he took some great risk. DeMar DeRozan was a very popular player here. He was under contract, but he looked at Oklahoma City, what they did with Paul George, and looked here and said, we're not good enough. We're not going to win with this team. And you look at the burden that Kawhi carried throughout the season, and now the roles, you weren't asking as much of Kyle Lowry anymore. And now with the emergence of Pascal Siakam, the kind of player he became for them, now they didn't need Kyle to score as much. He could become more of a distributor, but he was always open. He's made big shots in this postseason, and there's no question Dwayne Casey, that he did fire the coach of the year. And listen, they wouldn't be here without Dwayne Casey. He allowed,
and Ujiri said that.
Yeah, he built the building blocks, and Case was the coach who had to allow Siakam to play through some of those mistakes as a younger player. He wasn't here to see the benefit, the growth in him, but certainly Nick Nurse helped get them over that hump into the finals. It's a remarkable story. Everything that Masai wanted when he made that trade, which was, we've got a year to sell Kawhi on staying here. If they had gone out in the first round or the second round, and the conversation had become just, well, here's what I think we can still be with you. Well, now he's living it. He's seen it. There's no hypotheticals. Anywhere else he discusses it, talks to in free agency, it's still you're selling them on a vision of what might be. And
look, and this guy right behind us, Pascal Siakam, I mean, the belief in him and his improvement, he is going to be the NBA's most improved player, most likely, and his development. And that's something, this is a team in the Raptors that doesn't have one lottery pick. And so, I mean, obviously, Kawhi was brought over via trade, but that speaks to what Masai has built here.
Tremendous point of emphasis here on player development. Players come here, they get better, they grow. The development Kyle Lowry experienced here as a professional, always had the talent. He became a better professional here. Pascal Siakam, he didn't start playing basketball until he was 16 years old. This is a place where players come and have gotten better, and you see the results of that here in the finals.
Oh, and we have DeAndre Ayton who's walking behind us. Look, the sidelines here at the finals, I will say this is my first time at the finals. I'm usually kept back in Bristol as a house cat in the studio, so they let me out. But how many finals is this for you now, Woj?
I don't know how many, a bunch, but I can't remember a place where you walked into game one excitement and the newness of it. You sometimes can take it for granted when it's Golden State, Cleveland, and it becomes cities get used to having it, Boston, LA. But a place like Toronto that's been so hungry, and this has been a really loyal, hungry fan base, it's pretty awesome to see them get rewarded.
Yeah, and the fact, we're used to seeing the Warriors in the finals, but we're used to seeing them host game one. This is the first time that they haven't had home court advantage in game one, so that's going to be interesting for them, as there's a lot going into this finals for the Warriors. It's more than just the championship for them, of course, with the free agency looming. How much of an impact is this series going to have on what this team looks like next year?
I think with Golden State, I've never gotten a sense that Kevin Durant's decision is based on any sort of a result this season. I think he's going to make a decision based on where he wants to live, where he wants to play. Does he want to be the guy somewhere else and not part of this dynastic group that will go down in history as maybe as good as any team that's ever been put together in the NBA, what Bob Myers built here. I don't know that winning or losing impacts what Kevin Durant does. And even with Kawhi Leonard, both players could make $200 million plus by staying where they are. They're going to have to take less money to go somewhere else. But players have shown of that caliber in recent years, they will pass on that supermax staying to go play where they want to play. LeBron did it. Others have done it. Paul George did it in Indiana to leave.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the money is going to be a factor for either of them.
It's going to be a crazy summer, and of course, the only person to pay attention to is this man right here. Thank you so much for
Cass.
joining Hoop Streams. As always, the great Adrian Wojnarowski. You're watching Hoop Streams coming to you live on Twitter, on YouTube, and the ESPN app. This is your ESPN on-site pregame show leading into Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Warriors and the Raptors. We're an hour long for the first time this season. We're going to take you all the way up to tip. And you see out there in Jurassic Park, we're going to be heading out there in just a bit. But we got some more amazing guests to get to right here inside the arena, including our NBA champion, Kendrick Perkins, everyone.
Hello, Cass.
And then we got the people's champ, Stephen A. Smith.
It gotta
also.
be.
I'm no champion compared to my brother Kendrick Perkins.
No, don't do that, Steve.
You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
Yes, you are.
I'm no champion.
Wait, so
I defer.
You've been to the finals 4 times. How many finals is this for you covering?
This is my 24th NBA Finals.
Wow.
Wow.
How does this one feel compared?
This is special because you talk about another country altogether. I mean, we've never had something outside of the U.S. I mean, it's been America's teams. You know, everybody's in the States, and now it's in Canada for the first time, so it's definitely a different feeling.
It certainly is. The excitement is real. And look, we've had a while to lead up to it. It's been a week since we had basketball. We know you've been talking a lot about it. We know you've been tweeting a lot about it.
Absolutely.
Well, right now at this moment, what's the biggest thing you're focused on heading into this game?
Well, right now, I just want to see if Toronto will come out and get this game won. They're at home. Their fan base is crazy, something that I've never seen ever in life. I mean, I showed up here at 3 o'clock, and the line they had fans outside. It was crazy. And I think this is a must-win for Toronto. So what I'm looking to see out of this series is who wanted the most out of Stephen Curry and Kawhi Leonard, because that's going to be the determining factor.
It's interesting that he says that, because I think that to put it in its proper perspective, what you usually see in Cassidy, you talking to us. I mean, shoot, you cover the NBA too
Right.
exceptionally
Right.
well,
100%.
I might add,
Right.
so let's be clear about that. But here's the deal. Usually you're going to an NBA arena and you see folks just flummoxing to the arena. They're going to the arena. You don't see thousands upon thousands of people lined up outside, ready to pack an outside park. That's a different animal here. I came here the other day. Saturday night, I was here for the Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And the car put me literally 10 feet outside of the media entrance. And it took 7 security guards to get me that 10 feet, because the crowd.
It was 7?
That's right.
It should have took 25.
It was insane.
Steve.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Look,
because
it
these
is
people are that hype. They're
Yep,
this hype.
it's that hype. Because this is the NBA Finals, their first ever
Yes.
NBA Finals, and they're ready for it. Are the Warriors going to be ready with DeMarcus Cousins? If you were Steve Kerr, he's active tonight. How are you approaching DeMarcus Cousins?
First of all, he's going to be on a minute restriction. And let's face it, if he's healthy, they need him, because you need big bodies. I mean, Gasol is not a little boy. Ibaka is not a little man. I mean, these brothers are big boys. Okay, no question about it. But the flip side to it is that you don't want him to disrupt their flow. And if you feel like your flow is working and you're able to get shots, then you got to understand that having him in the game, you're going to be playing 4-on-5 basketball in terms of being up-tempo. It might be 5-on-5 if you slow it up, but if you slow it up, does it play into Toronto's hands, considering the stout defense that they have? That's a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like with Cuz, he have to buy in. I mean, he's been hurt, so my biggest thing is he in shape? This is the NBA Finals. He's been out for over 4 weeks. and it's hard, and only how to get in basketball shape is to play basketball. But if I'm Steve Kerr, I think I'll bring him in off the bench, play him in spot minutes, but I can't disrupt the flow. Because with the pace that the Warriors are playing at right now, it's hard to keep up with, and I don't think Big Cuz can play at this pace right now, and it could hurt their team.
Another pivotal thing that we've got to remember, Kevon Looney has been playing exceptionally well.
Absolutely.
He's been playing exceptionally well.
Unsung hero.
So you don't just want to guard DeMarcus Cousins' minutes from a conditioning perspective. You also want to make sure to be protective of Kevon Looney and what he's been giving you. Because sometimes coaches overcoach, and in an effort to compensate by putting in the quote-unquote better talent, you disrupt your flow by interrupting somebody that wasn't necessarily made for this moment. Steph Curry's fine. Klay Thompson's fine.
Right.
Draymond Green's fine. But a guy like Kevon Looney, this is going to be his first real opportunity to really be in the mix on this level and make a huge contribution. He's done exceptionally well in the playoffs thus far. You don't want to mess that up.
He's been an unsung hero.
Yeah, the Warriors have a question mark, obviously, in the bigs, and so do the Raptors a little bit. If you're Nick Nurse, who are you going with, Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka to start?
Well, I think I don't change nothing up. I think you got to stick with what's working. You start Marc Gasol. He's more experienced. I think he anchors the defense better than Serge. Serge is a better weak side shot blocker. Before it's overall anchoring the defense, the communication, and being a leader on the defensive end, you got to stick with Gasol, because one thing you got to understand about Golden State, all those guys over there got high basketball IQs. So you need that to match up. You need that with Gasol to be able to match the IQ on the court.
Look, there's a lot to cover in this game, but I don't know if you follow this man on Twitter.
I do not. I'm sorry.
You need to get on. He's one of the best fouls. He's one of the best fouls on Twitter. So we're gonna do a little segment called Perks Tweets. And let me show you one of his tweets. First up, this one was from Tuesday, okay? Perk tweeted this. The Kawhi is looking like MJ count is up to about 1,000 now. Just remember who started it.
Sure.
Not looking too crazy after all. God bless America. He claims that he was the first person to call Kawhi Jordan.
I don't know whether that's true or not, but in all my years of knowing him, there's two things I know about him. He's smart and he's honest.
Yes.
So if he says that he did something, he's not a liar,
so
because he ain't scared of anybody.
The opinion? I know we know this, but what do you feel about the opinion
but listen now. I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan.
Right, I understand.
But I'm saying if you watch Kawhi Leonard game, he mimics Michael Jordan. He gets to his spots. He's less athletic. He has a nice turnaround. His form is like Mike. And guess what? Guess who was the favorite player growing up?
That's right.
Okay,
well, listen, that's what Doc Rivers was explaining on my special the other night. He wasn't calling him MJ either, but he said, look at the body, look at the mid-range game, look at the fall-away game, look at the way, look at his poise and his patience, and most importantly, Kawhi Leonard, unlike Kevin Durant don't need any spots, you know that.
Right.
He can score from anywhere. But Kawhi Leonard is the kind of guy that is comfortable getting to his spot and scoring from those things. With him, even if you beat him there, he has the strength, the girth, the mass, the power to move you off of that spot, like MJ did later on in his career. That is the thing that draws the comparisons. It's how he goes about doing what he does. He doesn't have the aerial assault that Michael Jordan had, even though he's got hops. Not the aerial assault, but everything else looks similar. And that's what you got to give credit where credit is due.
Quickly, because you're a very busy man and very wanted, so we got to let you go. But in that discussion, who is the best player in this series right now?
Well, right now it's Kawhi Leonard, but be clear. Steph Curry at any given moment can be that guy. He averaged 36.5 against Portland. What if he does that against these guys? We got to understand that even though Kawhi plays on both ends of the floor, when you are so extremely potent offensively, sometimes that can disrupt everything. Yeah. And we all know Steph Curry has that capability.
Don't give yours, because we're going to hold on to you.
All
You're
right,
going to come outside with me to Jurassic Park. Actually, we're going to send it out to Jurassic Park, where Peter Rosenberg and Ariel Helwani are holding it down. What's going on out there, guys?
Thank you so much, Cassidy. And all right, we've talked a lot about the series. We got to talk about Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I am here with proud Canadian Ariel Helwani, and I said to you, Ariel, when I got off the plane today, I've never felt an energy like I felt today. And I've been to Toronto many times. This is special. This is something different. as a Canadian, what does this all mean to you?
It's honestly hard to put into words. I've had the pleasure of covering 300 or so big MMA shows. I've never felt anything quite like this, and I love the fact that you stressed the word Canada, Peter, because this isn't about Toronto, this isn't about the Raptors, this isn't about Kawhi Leonard, this isn't about any of that. And I honestly feel like Americans don't quite understand, with all due respect, what this means to the country. I grew up in this country. I grew up in Montreal. 30 or so years ago, you would be hard-pressed to find a single basketball highlight on television. No write-ups in the newspaper. This sport was nothing. No one talked about this sport. When the Raptors came in 1995, no one talked about the Raptors. They were playing in the cavernous Sky Dome. No one talked about them. And slowly but surely, something happened here. And there was a group of people, Rowan Barrett, Dwight Walton, Leo Rowdens, Trevor Williams, people like that, people that you probably never heard of, Carl English, Canadian basketball legends who kept going, who kept working, grassroots movement. This is for all of them. This is for the country, the fans. We have now made it. This is validation. This is unlike anything that I've ever experienced. The whole country, 40 million people coming together to root for this team. I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps.
Pull the flag out. Pull the flag out. And you said something so. Ariel makes such a great point. It is an unrelatable experience as an American, right? We are used to having American sports that play in our cities, et cetera, et cetera. What I think makes this series fascinating, and what I think makes this one of the most interesting game ones of all time, normally people would be saying, oh, we have a team that's back in the finals yet again, going for their 4th championship in 5 years, heavily favored. It's different because it's this game one in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It changes things.
That changes everything. And historically, the Raptors have been a very bad Game 1 team. They have the second worst Game 1 record in NBA history. Conversely, the Warriors are one of the best Game 1 teams in the Steve Kerr era. So there's a lot of pressure on these guys. And I'm wondering, is there going to be a hangover from what happened Saturday? The Warriors have had a very long layoff, one of the longest layoffs in playoff history, but there is something so special here. And the vibe, I don't know if you could truly feel it. You've seen Jurassic Park, you've seen what's going on. This man knows a thing or two about Canadian hip-hop. Cardinal Official, a Canadian hip-hop legend, was just playing. He was just singing for these people. This is unbelievable, Peter. And it's so interesting. I've had a lot of fans tell me, oh, you're a Knicks fan. What are you doing getting all hyped? Again, this is a country. We've never seen this in the NBA Finals before. The Canadian national anthem is about to play for the first time at the NBA Finals, and I feel like this energy has to galvanize this team. It has to.
I like the Raptors tonight. I do. They are more in rhythm than the Warriors are. You thought that after the dramatic way that they beat Philadelphia, maybe then they would have taken a step backwards, right? Literally, Kawhi Leonard hitting one of the most dramatic series-ending shots that I've ever seen in NBA history. But no, here they are again. They just keep moving forward. 4 straight against the Bucks, who many people thought were the second best team in the NBA. I don't see them having a letdown game today. How could you have a letdown game today? Drake's going to be here, for God's sake.
You mean Aubrey?
Aubrey's here.
Aubrey's going to be here. And we know about the playoff futility that the Raptors have had. We know about the 7-game series against Brooklyn, the sweep against the Wizards, the back-to-back sweeps against Cleveland. But this is a different team. This is you finally. Look, with all due respect to DeMar DeRozan, this doesn't happen without DeMar. This doesn't happen without Dwayne Casey. But now they finally have a superstar. Kawhi Leonard has grown up this year, and I think he's going to leave. But I think that's a different discussion for a different day. What he's done over the past couple months is nothing short of amazing. We could compare him to MJ, Kobe, all these people and more. Let's just appreciate what's going on here, because this is one of the best one-year runs in NBA history from any single superstar.
How often do you see a player who's highly regarded, who in one season transcends to a completely different level, and really during these playoffs? And one of the things that's made this playoff so fascinating is that without LeBron James, it seems like every couple of weeks we have a different superstar we're talking about being the best.
Yes.
It's Giannis, it's Steph. Right now, it's Kawhi Leonard. And that is, if this Raptors team has a chance, and I do think they have a chance. I like your pick of Raptors in 7. They have 4 games here.
Yes.
They have 4. That's the thing that's so interesting, too. I think the casual NBA fan probably didn't realize that the Raptors had home court advantage.
Right.
It changes everything.
And am I crazy? They announced today that DeMarcus Cousins is available.
Yes.
KD probably going to return. We'll see. Probably not
I don't
tonight.
think KD returns, though.
Okay.
I don't think he
Is
does.
it possible that DeMarcus could throw off the rhythm of this team? Because we know how well they've been playing as of late. But trying to force him back into the rotation, I wonder if maybe they should just, look, we're doing well without him. Let's just chill. What do you think?
That's a very, very interesting point. When you think about it, Boogie Cousins has been out since mid-April. He's been desperate to get back in, but you're right. And you're getting Boogie Cousins minus Durant.
Right.
So it's a version of this team that we've barely seen at all.
Yeah.
And they've been in such a rhythm recently that I don't know. You're right. And the question for me is, I believe that the reason that Boogie Cousins is active today is because he demanded it. I think with that kind of injury, there's probably a lot of concern, and I think he thought, I came to Golden State for a reason. I'm not missing out on the NBA Finals. But is it advisable for him to be playing with that injury? I'm not sure. And I don't think we'll see KD in this series.
Honestly, if I'm the Raptors, I want Boogie Cousins to play. I feel like him in the lineup is better for the Raptors with Siakam, with Marc Gasol, with Kawhi Leonard who could play. That to me is one of the most interesting parts of this story going into the game. Who does Kawhi Leonard guard? Who do you put Kawhi Leonard on? Do you put him on Klay Thompson? Do you put him on Draymond Green? Do you put him on Steph Curry? He can guard every single one of those guys, and that's again something that the Raptors have never had in their past. Like if you're Nick Nurse, who do you put Kawhi on? I don't know.
We on the Michael Kay show in New York today, we had Jeff Van Gundy on the show, and we asked Jeff that exact question. What do you do with Kawhi Leonard? He thinks defensively the smartest move is to put him on Draymond Green. So we'll see whether Jeff Van Gundy knows a lot more than I do. We'll see if that's what they end up doing. But Draymond, when you talk about a key player and someone changing a team, Draymond Green's season wasn't great.
Yeah.
But the second Kevin Durant left, he became the engine of this basketball team.
Yeah, no. This team has been playing amazing without KD. They're the old Warriors. Let's not forget, they won 73 games without Kevin Durant just a couple of years ago. They don't necessarily need Kevin Durant. I'm not going to buy this narrative that they're worse with Kevin Durant.
No.
And by the way, I want people to keep saying that because that makes me think that he'll leave after the playoffs are over. But I don't buy that for 1 second. Kevin Durant is arguably the greatest basketball player in the world.
You don't lose the
living
best
today.
basketball player in the world and get better.
That's absolute nonsense.
But they are a different team.
Absolutely.
And Draymond seems to, every rebound it's push. And the question for me is, when you look personnel-wise, offensively, does Toronto have enough heat to keep up with Golden State if it is push and shoot all day long?
I think they do. Can we talk about this Raptors team a little more, what Masai Ujiri has done? Can we talk about what this man did last summer? This man was hated. I listen to Toronto Sports Radio a lot. They've got a lot of great shows here. They crucified him for what he did. He fired the coach of the year, Dwayne Casey. He traded, the face of this franchise, DeMar DeRozan, the most beloved Raptor probably since Vince Carter. He put all his chips to the table. If this would have failed, if they would have lost in the first round, he might have been fired as an executive, Masai Ujiri. And look what has happened. There's Masai right there. To me, he's the executive of the year. If they don't give him the Executive of the Year award at the end of the year, that is a sham, an absolute sham, because what he did is
incredible.
Unbelievable.
You made such a great point. To get rid of the Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year.
And lose your most beloved player and be in a better position now, it's an unbelievable storyline. Here's my question for you.
Marc Gasol, at the deadline, he picks him up. What a move for Jonas Valanciunas, one of the most beloved Raptors of this current era.
Now, should they drop Game 1 at home and you feel that letdown?
Yeah.
Is the series over?
No.
Does that get very difficult?
No, not at all. They have to win Game 2, though. Again, like I said, historically, the Raptors are a very bad Game 1 team. They, for some reason, they just never show up. And you remember, in the first round, they lost to the Magic in Game 1. And I think everyone started to think, same old Raptors. Clearly, this isn't the same old Raptors. But you got to get one at home.
Yeah, it also speaks to the Warriors' greatness that you talk about stealing a game at home.
Yeah.
Generally, a series doesn't start until a game is won on the road. But with the Warriors, you're trying to make sure you get one of the first two at home before going out to the Bay. So that's what makes this so unique. Golden State is so good. Let's not forget, and I know we are in Raptors heaven right now, but let's not forget, we're talking about one of the greatest dynasties in basketball history. It's time to start appreciating how great this dynasty is.
They're a great dynasty, but you see what they're walking into here? They're walking into a country. I remember 1995, Ed Pinckney, jump ball against the late Yinkadare. First game ever. You guys don't understand. the rich Canadian history of basketball. You know that James Naismith was born
with the man.
Not that far. The man who invented this game was born here in Canada. November 1st, 1946. The very first game in NBA history was played here in Toronto.
Crazy.
At Maple Leaf Gardens, the Toronto Huskies versus the New York Knicks. Do you see these people right here? This is a country, 40 million people in Canada. That's actually almost as much as California, by the way, so it's not that many if you actually break it down.
No, it's
but
not.
still, it's a country versus a state. And guess what? The other 49 states in the United States are actually rooting for the Raptors.
I couldn't
it's an
agree with you
amazing
more.
thing.
No, and I
they
think,
want some fresh
I think you're
air.
right. I think in terms of storylines, with all the stories we've talked about, Kevin Durant, Boogie Cousins, et cetera, the fact that basketball was invented here and this is now the NBA Finals here in Toronto,
it's an
undersold story
10
of this
years
finals.
ago, this was a joke of a franchise. They won 16 games. The Raptors were the Barney dinosaur team. Like, I really can't believe that in around 30 or so minutes, the NBA Finals are going to happen here in Canada. It's insane.
Well, how about this? What if I were to tell you that not only would the NBA Finals be held in Toronto, where the Raptors have home court advantage, but the most popular rapper on planet Earth will also be from Toronto. He's already on the court right now, I've been told.
Aubrey.
So, Drake Aubrey Graham, a lot has happened in this city over the last... Listen, I'm wearing a Shaw Claire shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it. I am wearing a Shaw Claire t-shirt. Hip-hop has been a big thing in Toronto for a very long time. But a lot about this city changed when Drake became a superstar. And all the timing has been, it's so perfect now.
I'm so happy that you said that, Peter. You know why? Because people like to take shots at Drake. I know he's a fun target. Drake deserves a lot of credit for turning Toronto into a cool thing, the Six, if you will. But he also, hey guys, how are you?
You know these guys.
My guy Kendrick Perkins.
Host their own shows.
Oh, the Raptors here.
I mean, wait, these are our concessions.
You brought
we got the Raptors.
Oh, yes.
And we brought food from inside, Burke and I.
This is so generous.
I know, thank you. What do we have here, Chef?
We got all sorts of great stuff. So these are our famous Real Sports wings. We sell them inside and over at the restaurant. We got our prime.
Bring it over, yeah.
Oh my
Canadian
God, look
prime.
at this.
Tenderloin carb. It's the champion carb. You're gonna have to try
goodness.
this.
See how nice Canadians
Dorito
are?
dog, a little bit of
A Dorito dog?
guacamole, pico de gallo, cheese, and
Wow.
Doritos, of course.
Kendrick. I want to see Kendrick scarf that down.
Wait, what do you have to say?
I'm finishing my wing.
Oh, okay.
It's a delight.
Big.
Oh, what else we got?
Our Reuben.
Just move away from the camera over there. Yeah, there you go.
What do we have?
Reuben poutine.
Oh
so
my.
it's got
poutine.
corned beef,
Explain to the people exactly what poutine is.
gravy, cheese curds, fries. It's the greatest thing in the world.
It look like
This one has a Reuben on it. And then we also got our hot.
We got a buffet, Chef. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Good times. Oysters, jumbo shrimp, lobster, and we got our famous 36-ounce tomahawk prime.
My Lord. Are you
My
leaving this all here?
goodness.
Can't beat it.
Chef,
Leave it
turn
here.
this way.
You
Let
can't beat
the
that.
people see you.
This is true Canadian
This
hospitality.
is some.
cannot
Look,
beat that. That's
I'm
great.
gonna put this down.
thank you. I need.
Somebody's eating my bone.
Look, we're gonna go and eat this.
Keep eating.
And speaking of
I can't eat the
eating,
bone.
you know a guy who's been really eating these playoffs?
Yeah.
How about that translation?
Well done.
Draymond Green.
yes.
In fact, he's really been peaking. Let's see how he's done these playoffs.
Draymond Green may be playing the best offensive basketball of his career.
Draymond's ability to be quarterback with this team, to make those reads all the time, to see the progressions of the offense, is what makes him absolutely brilliant.
Can't you see? Don't you know what I am? I'm a man with a plan, and it's time you understand.
So now all of a sudden, a guy that averaged 7 points this year, that has been Defensive Player of the Year, who wasn't even an All-Star this year, all of a sudden loses 30 pounds, gets a chance to play like he used to play, and Draymond Green has now become a catalyst, in particular up front, to the Golden State Warriors attack.
It's all just noise to me. I've been working so hard.
I've been said about his game as of late, and he's continued to take it up a notch. And that's what the playoffs are all about. You know, he shines bright in those type of moments, and he does it his way, and it's awesome to see.
Draymond is just a big game player. He's a guy who hit 5 threes in Game 7 of the Finals a few years ago. He's not even a three-point shooter.
This is what you play for. This is our goal every year, and to get here 5 straight times is special. You know, we're trying to go win this thing. I've been to a finals and lost. It's no fun.
Look, Draymond has been averaging almost a triple-double through these playoffs. And guys, if you're watching in the ESPN app, make sure to authenticate now to watch the game live right here. Make sure you get that authentication. I can't really say that word.
Authentication.
There we go. And you know who's been the real deal as well as being authentic? That's how I did that transition. It's been Draymond Green. And look, he's really gotten in shape during these playoffs. He's lost nearly 25 pounds. And Perk, you've played against Draymond. Is this the best you've ever seen him play?
This is the best, and I thought last year Draymond played at a high level. He played at the 5. He led the league in blocks and rebounds last year, and he just stepped it up at another level. Let me tell you something about Draymond Green. He's everything that you want in a basketball player. He could do it all. He could pass, he could dribble, he could shoot. He turned it into a playmaker. He's sneaky athletic. As a coach, this is the guy that you want on your team. He could guard 1 through 5. And I see he made a statement the other day. He said he's the best defender at what he do or something like that. And I agree with him.
Well, we were just discussing this. Who do you think Kawhi Leonard ends up checking tonight? And is it Draymond Green?
No, it's not Draymond Green. I think he checks Steph or he checks Clay. I think he guards Clay tonight. And I think Kyle Lowry, because Draymond is not really a factor offensively for scoring. He's not going to come out.
He just gets it going.
Yeah, but he's not going to come out and give you 35, 40 points. Kawhi wants to stop the guys who give you the buckets, you know what I mean?
What do you think?
And that's team light skin.
Yeah. Perk. Look, Draymond, you talked about how he called himself the best defender ever. He had a very passionate speech during media day where he's like, if you don't believe that, then it won't ever happen. You know, being great doesn't happen by mistake. But can Draymond Green be the MVP of these finals?
Well,
Is that a possibility?
Yes, it's possible. And I agree with Draymond because he could guard 1 through 5. We never seen a player like Draymond Green on the defensive end who blocks shots, who rebound, who's 6'6". He could guard all 5 positions. So I agree. The way Draymond's playing right now, he keep this up, he possibly can win the finals MVP. If they win the series, which I don't have them winning the series.
That's my guy.
Without KD, I have Toronto in 6.
All right.
Toronto in
That
6.
This is
In
smart man.
6.
This is a smart man right here. Can I ask you
With
another question?
What's up?
Can I ask you another question?
Go ahead.
Because last year, you guys remember when he got into a beef with Drake?
Of course.
Remember that?
Yeah.
But you also allegedly almost tripped Steph Curry. Allegedly.
Right.
Who you got more beef with, Steph or Drake?
I don't listen. I don't have
Clear
beef
the
with
air.
Drake no more. All right.
What happened? Tell us the real
It
story.
was just a miscommunication.
What did he say to you?
He just said something a little disrespectful.
Tell us.
No, I can't really say it
Come on,
on
don't-
No.
Kendrick,
Because
you just got started on TV. Let's not end this right now.
Listen, me and Drake have no beef.
Okay.
Right? So we good. He's just a diehard fan, and I was just rolling with the Cavaliers. At that time, it's just, I hate you, you hate me type thing. Steph Curry, same thing. I don't have any beef with anyone. I love them all.
Well, because a lot of people think Draymond's going to get mad at Drake. But Drake's wearing a Del Curry jersey today, right?
Let me tell you the only reason I might have a problem with Steph Curry.
Okay.
It's because he got green eyes and I don't.
Oh.
A lot of jealousy from KP.
Now we know a little bit more about Perk. He wish he had green eyes. I will say, hey, Perk, did you see your fat head?
They
back here?
represent.
Hey.
People are here.
This crowd
They
in Jurassic
represent.
Park, yes. This is serious right now.
These are good people right
look
here.
at that.
These are good people.
Look at yours, Cass.
This is amazing.
Mine is so awkward. But you really don't look at it. It's awful. Look,
You gotta have a smirk. Oh, Perk is obviously
look
a man.
how awkward this is.
Popping out here today,
Why this
baby.
picture?
Are you up to something?
I don't
What are
know.
you-
Why
what are you
this
up to
picture?
right now?
ESPN.
look
Why?
great.
No, it's terrible. Get that out of
Okay,
here.
no, let's get a little bit. I know it's crazy out here, but there's so much to get into in this game, and I want to talk about the KD factor here because you said, regardless if KD plays or not, you got the Raptors in 6. Okay, so KD.
No KD, I got the Raptors at 6.
Okay, with KD.
With KD, I got Golden State in 7.
And what do you mean with KD? When does he need to return for that to happen?
Well, he have to return next game in order for this
Game
to play
2.
the fact. If they go down 2-0 and KD return game 3, it's not a chance.
What do you make of all the conversations about the fact that people say the Warriors are better without KD because of the style of play, the passing, their assists are up, more touches on the ball?
If they was better, they wouldn't have recruited him. At the end of the day, KD didn't recruit himself to Golden State. They came and got KD after a 73-win season. And it's been proven They won back-to-back championships, and guess who was the final MVP?
Kevin Durant.
Okay, then.
You don't lose the best player in basketball and improve. I just can't accept that logic.
But Draymond said something interesting today. He said, when KD is playing and we walk in the gym, I know we're going to win. So with that being said, he just said that KD's the best in the game.
Clay said that on the jump as well. He said, when we walk into the arena with KD on our team, we kind of feel like we got this.
Yeah.
But it's a little more challenging when we don't have that crutch of Kevin Durant. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously his free agency is looming over these
Forget
finals.
about free agency for now. We got to talk about what's going on here. KD's not playing, but DeMarcus Cousins is available. We were talking about this earlier. I want to get you guys to weigh in on this. Should you play DeMarcus Cousins, or you guys are rolling without him? You don't need him, right?
This is my take on DeMarcus. Bring him in off the bench. He play a couple minutes and sit him down. You can't mess up the flow.
Right.
Golden State is playing at a high level pace. I don't think DeMarcus can keep up with it. He's been out for 6 weeks, so it's going to be hard for him to keep up with that pace, and I wouldn't want him to mess up the rhythm. And by the way, Stephen A. Smith said something. You also take away from Looney, who's been an unsung hero on this team, and he's been playing well. And that's the problem with getting hurt. Sometimes when you get hurt, the team could miss you, and the team could do bad and then miss you, or the team could do good, and then all of a sudden it's like,
And with this Golden State team, it seems like every year they win the championship, there's some different unsung hero.
Right.
The first one we were talking about, Harrison Barnes.
Right.
It's like
Andre Iguodala winning Finals MVP.
Exactly. So you just never know.
Kevon Looney could be the unsung hero for the Warriors in this time around.
I have a Looney jersey. I knew off top. Yeah, no, I have an authentic Looney jersey.
As we see Looney warming up right now.
There you go.
A guy that has taken some criticism on this stage is Steph Curry, because he hasn't won the Finals MVP yet. Kawhi Leonard has won a Finals MVP. Of those two guys, who do you have more confidence in on this stage?
Well, on this stage, I got to give it to Kawhi, because at the end of the day, Steph been here for 5 straight years and have yet to prove it. So my thing is, I got to give it to Kawhi.
What do you mean he has yet to prove it?
Oh yeah, but he haven't won Finals MVP yet.
Oh, come on. He's an unselfish guy.
No, that don't have nothing to do with it.
Really?
So is Kawhi.
Yeah?
Kawhi won Finals MVP, and he won it against arguably the best player to ever play the game in LeBron James.
Those Spurs teams needed him to be the man. These Warriors teams don't need Steph to dominate like Kawhi did, right?
Now, without KD,
right
they
now,
need Steph to dominate.
Yes.
So you want to see the Steph Curry that we saw in the Houston series after the KD injury.
Absolutely.
You want 35 a night from Steph Curry.
This series is going to come down to who wanted the most out of Kawhi Leonard and Stephen Curry.
Are you worried at all about Leonard's health? Do you feel like he's banged up? What do you think, based on what you see from him?
I don't worry about Kawhi.
I mean, if he was banged up and he played like that against
right. Kawhi is a killer, man. I mean, like, at the end of the day, if you put Kawhi in the cage with 4 lines, you know what you get, right? 5 lines. That's what you get.
What's it like on the court with Kawhi? Does he talk at all?
He don't say nothing. He leads by example. That's what you want. But you can see it in him.
We stay on that for a second. We are spectators. You've actually played in this arena. We've been talking about the crowd. You played in playoff games here, right? I remember that moment when LeBron spoke to Doris Burke after you guys, 2 years ago after they swept the Raptors, and he said, could we just listen to this crowd here for a second? They were going, let's go Raptors, after the series was over. What is it like playing in Scotiabank with these crowds?
Man, I never seen nothing like this in my life. I got here at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and they had a line of people out here. I never seen this, and I done been to 6 finals, and I never seen this in my life. And this is unbelievable. Seriously. Like, this fan base is crazy.
Can the fans actually galvanize the players? Like, is that actually a real thing?
Absolutely.
Do you guys really feed off of that?
Because that's why you fight for home court advantage. It's a reason you have home court, and it's because of this.
Look at this crowd. This is live. You're looking at it live right now on Twitter, on YouTube, on the ESPN app. And if you're watching on the ESPN app, hit the authenticate button now to watch Game 1 live. Make sure to do that. But you are watching live at Jurassic Park. This is my first time out here at Jurassic Park. It is a wild scene. That stage back there is where Drake watched Game 6 of
amazing.
And it's been like this. It's been like this for hours. It's been like this for every single game. It's an unbelievable home court advantage. This is not your everyday. We talk about home court advantage in sports all the time. As we talked about, it's the first time it's ever happened in the entire nation.
Right.
This is different. This is a different kind of home court advantage.
I'm loving every bit of it, me. This is unbelievable.
I do have a question, Ariel, since you are our resident Canadian.
Yes.
Is sports betting legal in Canada?
Yes.
Okay, so then we're not going to really do legal betting here, but let's get into some prop bets.
Okay.
Heading into
For entertainment purposes only.
For entertainment purposes, not for money. And I want to get your three's rapid fire picks on this, okay? We're going to start with who scores the most points in the entire finals.
Kawhi Leonard.
I agree with the big man, Kawhi Leonard.
I'm going to say that Steph's going to step up this year and give it to Steph Curry.
Okay. Well, we won't find out until Game 6, according to Perk.
Game 7.
Who's going to be the first player to get a triple-double?
Draymond Green.
I hate to be the guy who keeps saying Kawhi Leonard, but Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard, okay.
Leonard.
I'm going to go Kawhi Leonard as well.
Over, under Steph threes in the finals, 30.
Over.
He had
It might
20.
be first game.
He's not going to have 30 in the first game. Oh, my God. Okay, first player to get a technical.
Oh, Draymond Green.
Easy, Draymond Green.
Not easy. The man is calm his
I think Kendrick could actually still get one, too.
Serge Ibaka.
Look, you called out Serge Ibaka earlier in these playoffs.
And you see how he's been playing, huh?
And how would you say he's been playing?
He's been playing great. You know what I call Serge when he in OKC when he stepped his game up?
What?
The wild African, and that's how he's been playing lately.
Has he gotten you on his show yet to eat all those crazy
No,
food?
but I talked to him before the game, and I told him I want to get on there with him.
Are you sure about that, Perk?
No, I don't want to eat none of that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's keep these prop bets going. Who will be the finals assist leader?
Finals assist leader.
Kyle Lowry.
Even though that thumb, he did say, has been messing up his passing
I would have
ability.
to say Draymond Green.
I was going to go Draymond also. That's the role that Draymond seems to play when KD's gone, is the man who sets people up.
I want to sit on Kyle Lowry for a second because, look, he's gotten a lot of criticism for not showing up in the playoffs, and now he's in the finals without his best friend DeMar DeRozan. He really has performed well. What's your take on how Kyle Lowry has developed during these playoffs?
I thought Kyle played horrible the first series, and that was it. Ever since then, he's been playing outstanding basketball. But just because, I know he's an all-star, but just because a guy don't put up 30 points doesn't mean he's not playing well. I want the fans to start watching the little things that Kyle does. He gives Toronto at least 8 to 9 possessions a game by taking charges.
Yes, he
That's
does.
valuable.
He is
and
a
a lot of
bulldog.
people don't see that. He is a real live bulldog, and we got to watch the little things with Kyle Lowry.
And Kawhi is the star on this team, but I think that Kyle Lowry is the heart and soul of this team, right? He's been here 7 or so years, always had the heartbreak. He's the one that experienced all that heartbreak. And you remember, he didn't talk to Masai Ujiri for half the season because Masai traded his boy. And I feel like I couldn't agree more, especially against the Bucks. I really think he stepped up. Fred VanVleet wasn't doing his part. Then he has a kid, and now all of a sudden he's doing his part. I think Kyle is going to have a huge series. I'm really looking for him to have a big series.
And I think he embraced his matchup.
Yes.
As we see, he's warming up inside Scotiabank Arena as we're 10 minutes away to this game gets started. Let's continue on with our prop bets.
Wait, can I throw one at you? I don't know if you have it.
Let's do it.
Did you see the MVP prop bet?
No, give it to me.
Okay, so I saw the MVP prop bet line today, and I was shocked by it.
I'm just gonna say, my big head here is the most loyal, aside from Ariel.
Mine's gone. Mine's dead.
This is a head. Look at that nose. Look how big that nose is.
The nose.
I love the dress shirt. I love the dress shirt. Oh, rewarding him.
Gave him a teddy bear.
What's your MVP
All right,
prop bet?
He seems happy.
Here's what I saw. Steph was the favorite. Steph was like minus something, and then Kawhi Leonard was plus 175. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, at the site I saw, were like plus 900 for MVP. Some ridiculous number. I love Draymond as an underdog for MVP.
I love Klay too.
And Klay.
Listen to me. Klay Thompson has been the best shooting guard in these playoffs. Period. Over James Harden and CJ McCollum.
And he's mad about not making All NBA. So And he told our Rachel Nichols on the jump, look, it does bother me. I'm trying to build a resume here. What better way to build a resume to get on that Finals MVP? Because this is a guy who sacrificed a lot.
Well, I tell you what, Cassidy, it's not going to be easy, because guess who's going to be guarding him tonight?
Kawhi's going to be on
Kawhi J, baby.
And by the way, let's talk about how good Clay is on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
We spent so long thinking about him as a shooter.
Absolutely.
He's a legitimate shutdown
yes,
defender
he
as well.
Is. Yes, he is.
Well, who does Clay guard? Because are you going to see him on Kawhi?
One thing about Clay guards anybody. He don't run from nobody, so it's going to be interesting to see. I'm telling you, man, this is going to be a great series.
And are we going to find out what you said to Drake? Are you going to tell us? Come on.
Man, listen,
the people are waiting.
I'm past that.
Okay, how about this?
I like to stir the pot.
Fine, let's go in the future. If you're on the Warriors, okay, and you heard Aubrey on the sidelines, what would you say back to him, or how would you interact with him? Because you know he's going to be all the way live.
If I was on the Warriors, that means I would be like Steph or Clay, so I would really have a game, right?
No, if Kendrick Perkins were on the Warriors.
So I would have game. So my advice...
If you're on the Warriors, you become Steph Curry?
Yeah, I would be the man.
Okay,
but my advice to Drake, right, is to not say too much, because you don't want to poke the bear.
No.
Like, you don't want to...
Look what he did to Giannis.
Giannis
was done.
Giannis cannot compare to Steph and Clay. These guys that set records.
As KD said, I don't care about no damn Drake night.
And they're good friends. And there's so much camaraderie and rivalry. Now, I got to tell you one storyline I am shocked that Ariel has not brought up yet, because he's a huge Knicks fan.
Yeah.
How sweet is it, as a Knicks fan, that Jeremy Lin finds himself in the NBA Finals?
Beautiful. I remember when Jeremy Lin came to this building on Valentine's Day 2012, top of the three, hit a three to beat the Raptors. Mike Breen was on the call and said, bang, I'm so happy for Jeremy Lin. The Knicks didn't treat him well at the end. He's been all over. He obviously doesn't play, but I think it's a great story to see him here. And if I could transition to another great story, because I want to get your take on it. We have not mentioned one name that I think it's criminal that we haven't mentioned this name. Nick Nurse outcoached Mike Budenholzer in the Eastern Conference Finals, and everyone talks about Steve Kerr. Nick Nurse is in his first season.
He did.
And he has taken this team where Dwayne Casey never took him.
Right.
Everyone thought this was crazy that they would do this, that they would hire him. How about Nick Nurse?
Oh, you know what? Let's
he's
pause for
done?
a second as they're doing the national anthem.
Nurse, much love.
Take a look at the Jurassic Park.
Okay.
I don't understand a word he said.
Yes, that was a good anthem.
Beautiful.
Wait, there's another good anthem coming up
I
now.
know. And as you pointed out earlier,
First time
in the NBA Finals. Who do we got singing in here? There we go. I'm trying to watch. I'm watching the screen here on Jurassic Park. Let's listen in. The tenors are singing the Canadian national anthem.
True patriot love. land, glorious and free. Come on, Kendrick, I can't hear you. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard. Hold it, Kendrick, hold it. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Oh my gosh.
It's fired up.
It's a beautiful song. Ariel, you should have let the tenor sing it, but that's okay.
Look at that.
Look at these.
Look at this crowd out in
That's
Jurassic
crazy.
Park. 2 anthems. How'd that feel, Ariel? How'd that
I got
feel?
goosebumps.
As you were singing your own
Guys,
voice.
I got to tell you, I grew up in this country. And like I was telling Peter, no one cared about basketball when I grew up here. No one. You couldn't get basketball on TV. The fact that there's an NBA Finals game in this country, this isn't about Toronto. This is about a country coming together and rallying behind a sport. It's really one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Really, I'm truly honored to be here with all of you.
I feel
I'm
it.
jealous.
Ariel, I feel it.
Man, I'm not on the Raptors right now.
Yes.
Listen, wait.
I didn't do that.
Are you
You're a
picking?
traitor, Peter.
What's your pick? Peter, are you not going with the Warriors?
I'm repping for Toronto. I used to spend a lot of time here.
He's an adopted son.
I spent a lot of time here. Bret Hart's my favorite wrestler of all time. I can't help but root for the Raptors. It's such a good story. I'm sorry. It's just it's
Okay, as
phenomenal.
it stands right now, all 3 of you are going with the Raptors?
Listen.
Am I the only one who's going to pick
Just
Warriors
go
in
with it.
6?
KD or no KD, Kendrick. Just live with
Kevin
it.
Durant is out. I'm going with the Raptors.
Well, Kevin Durant's out right now.
Well, I'm going with the Raptors.
Let's go.
Okay.
My
Cassidy,
favorite player,
you are-
My favorite player
Warriors in
right now is
6.
playing in the finals in Kawhi Jordan.
Well, shout out to Cassidy, the only rational person here.
Warriors
We're going with the Warriors
Cassidy,
in
who
6.
you going for?
Oh, I said Warriors in 6. Without KD, with KD. Ooh.
Most of the sports world agrees with you.
All right.
It's okay.
Okay, just say.
Wait, did you make your pick?
I'm going Raptors in 7.
All right.
I'm going
We're all
Raptors
drunk
in
in the
7.
What
moment.
about game 1? What is your prediction for game 1 as we're getting ready? We're about a minute away from this game getting
My
underway.
prediction for game 1, I got the Raptors by 8.
93-87, Canada's team takes game 1.
Closer than that, 97-96. This is going to be a classic. But by the way, if they lose game 1, Raptors, if they lose game 1, I'm changing my pick. They have to win tonight.
It's a must. They're
No,
the must
I
win.
say the Warriors take game 1, Raptors take game 2, and then we go on from there until the Warriors win in game 6.
We'll
Look,
see.
again, if you are watching on the ESPN app, authenticate now to watch game 1 live, people. You can just do this on your phone, on your tablet, on your. This is the beauty. Authenticate. I have nailed that. I've nailed that word right now. We will be back for another hour-long edition of Hoop Streams before game 2. Yes, Ariel, get your fandom in. Send them home. Send them
Here we
home.
go.
The 51st
Enjoy
state.
game 1 of the NBA Finals on ABC, everybody. Thanks for watching.
You're so proud.
Let's get partied up in Jurassic Park, man.